everyone, Miss GoElectric here. Today I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, where Lectric, one of the biggest e-bike makers in the world, has invited a bunch of media people to come out and test drive some of their newest e-bikes that they have coming to the market. And right in front of me, you'll notice that this is going to be the latest edition of the XPeak, their off-road bike. This is the 2.0, and I can't wait to get it out on the trail. So let's dive into some specifications, and then we're going to take it out for a ride. The Lectric XPeak 2.0 is shipped as a Class 2 e-bike, which means the motor can work up to 20 miles per hour using the 5-pedal assistance modes and its thumb throttle. The XPeak can also be software unlocked to higher speeds to become a Class 3 e-bike. When unlocked, the top speed while pedaling is raised to 28 miles per hour, while the top speed using the thumb throttle remains 20 miles per hour. The XPeak 2.0 has a 750-watt rear hub motor which can deliver up to 1,310 watts peak. The pedal assistance is activated by an in-house designed torque sensor. The UL certified battery operates at 48 volts with a capacity of 15 amp hours. That's equivalent to 720 watt hours. Lectric offers a larger 20 amp hour battery for $200 more. The battery is easily removable and can be charged on or off the bike. It includes an integrated charge status indicator. Lectric supplies a 2 amp charger standard, which fully recharges the battery in about 7 hours. They offer an upgraded 5 amp charger, which can deliver a full charge in about 3 hours. Lectric advertises a maximum range of 65 miles for the 15 amp hour battery configuration and a maximum of 90 miles for the 20 amp hour battery. The XPeak 2.0 frames are aluminum hydroformed with 2 designs. The step over is offered in the color Tempest Gray, and the step through is offered in Stratus White. There's only one frame size which supports a wide range of rider heights from 5'2" to 6'3". The water resistance rating is IP65. The bike weighs 75 pounds and can support a total maximum payload capacity of 330 pounds with the rear cargo rack supporting up to 60 pounds. These are hydraulic brakes with a 203mm rotor in the front and a 180mm rotor in the rear. The 8-speed trigger shifter and Altus derailleur are made by Shimano. The adjustable RST Renegade front fork suspension offers 80mm of travel. These Chow Yang puncture-resistant tires are 26 inches in diameter and 4 inches wide with a knobby tread. The new colored display is easy to read and simple to operate. Lectric confirmed that the XPeak 2.0 does not have cruise control. The integrated headlight, taillights, fenders, and rear rack are standard. XPeak 2.0 owners get Lectric's 1-year warranty and free shipping when they buy direct. Lectric offers phone and email support in the US, and we've visited the team in Phoenix. While they may not offer the largest retail network, they might just have the most responsive help desk in this price range, which should be a consideration for direct-to-consumer customers. All right, those specifications look pretty good. And to note, this is being filmed in September and the bike will come out sometime in November. So if there are any changes, we'll put some information down in the description below. But it's time to get out on the trail. It is a hot 108 degrees, so wish me luck. But if I'm huffing and puffing, you'll know why. And this here is my new Lumos helmet. This is definitely going to come in handy today because it has a visor on the front to keep all the dust out of my eyes as I'm riding. But if you want to learn more about this helmet, then see the link in the description below and I'll put a coupon code down there as well. Let's get to riding. All right, so I want to try a little bit of on-road experience to see how the XPeak will perform when I'm not on trail. Already it feels pretty comfortable. The riding position is upright enough to make me feel comfortable being in this position for a while. The grips are really nice because these are more of a paddle shape and they're rubberized. On road, so far shifting is really smooth. Right now I've been just in the first pedal assist mode and it is off the line, a good amount of power for a first pedal assist. You know, this is a little bit heavier of a bike and the one that I'm riding around on has the 20 amp hour battery, so it is going to be a little bit heavier because of that. So I wouldn't want to do this for too long, especially on any kind of elevated terrain like I'm experiencing right now. So let's bump up actually a little further. The torque sensor is very smooth. It's almost undetectable when it kicks in, especially while you're already riding. I'm gonna bump it down into the first pedal assist mode and just give it an off the line test. So 3, 2, 1. Gives you enough juice off the line, but it's still smooth so that you don't feel like you're gonna fly off once you put on the throttle. Now I love the placement of the throttle and how your thumb fits perfectly in here, but it is a plastic material. So I would like to see maybe a little bit of more rubberized texture on that, but I easily got up to 20 miles per hour, no problem, by just using the throttle there. And I can definitely feel not only the front fork working going over these little ridges in the pavement, but also the fat tire provides a lot of that extra suspension. So this is really comfortable. Saddle's also pretty comfortable too, a little bit wider profile. And I could see this being a great option to, you know, use it as a hybrid whether you're commuting or whether you are going up mountainous trails. Let's move up to the 5th pedal assist mode. Oh yeah. Really nice power on the 5th pedal assist. As I push harder, easily I'm hitting up to 23. I'll chill a little bit on that speed bump, but this gets you up to speed real nice. All right, now let's head up to the trails so we can experience the XPeak on the peaks we see here. When I want to ride to a trail, I want to exert my effort while I'm on the trail, not while I'm trying to get there. So to have the ability to quickly get me back home or to the trail by accessing that higher power is very helpful, especially considering that Lectric is now offering a bigger battery option with this, with 20 amp hours. That's appropriate for the amount of power so that you can still get a decent amount of range, even with those higher power outputs. A bike like this can really handle a more mild trail like this, and it's really good to ride in all types of weather conditions. So winter case scenario, I know I would be riding a bike like this in the wintertime around my town in Michigan because it has a really nice wide tire to have a better contact patch, drop the PSI in that tire, and it is really enjoyable in those types of conditions. But you don't want to go on too extreme terrain because this is just a heavy bike in comparison to a mountain bike. But suspension feels really capable here, and the brakes are amazing. This has a really large 203 millimeter brake off the front wheel, which is essential for going downhill. And you can see this is definitely conquering some of these bigger rocks. And when I come downhill here, I can definitely feel that performance of the hydraulic brakes. Nice wide tires, also keeping it balanced and a good tread to maintain stability while I'm on this sketchy surface. And even when I'm going uphill, this is most definitely giving me the power that I need. Now, one thing that I'm also enjoying is the pedal design, because the pedals have metal spokes on them. And when you're in rough terrain like this, it really helps to keep your foot on the pedal so it's not constantly slipping off. All right, I'm gonna turn around and then head back. Now this model that I've been riding on is actually the step over version, but they do offer a step through, which that tends to be my preference because it's just much easier to get on and off the bike and provides a little bit more accessibility for all kinds of riders. I also like that they have a colored display on the XPedition 1.0 when I reviewed that. I thought they could do some work on making that a little bit better for the customer for legibility, and I think they've done it here to still keep it very simple, which helps keep the price point down, but also provide crucial information about your speed and your odometer. And I love how it tells you how many watts it's outputting while you're riding and gives you a really clear battery rating with this colored information. Well, let's head back and I'll share my final thoughts about the Lectric XPeak. Woof, it was a hot day out there, so I found some shade so that I could talk a little bit more about what improvements I would like to see for Lectric so that they could be #1 in this space for this category of bike, and also the things that I thought that they did a very good job with this next generation of the XPeak 2.0. The first area for improvement that I would like to see, and that I've seen across the competition, is that this could have an adjustable stem to improve the variability of the bike. And what I mean by that is not only for geometry for different riders to feel comfortable while they're riding on it, but also if you're taking this bike out as a commuter and maybe you're going in a beach community, you want to be in a more upright position, and you can do so by moving those handlebars closer. Or if you're going out on the trails like I did, you might want to position it a little bit more downward and forward so you have a little bit more of your weight over the front wheel. So I'd like to see an adjustable stem just like some of the competitors offer in this segment. Now, speaking of the competitors, I also want to bring up the aesthetic of this bike, because I feel like, for one, the cable management up front could use a little bit of work. Now, this plastic coil around the cables is pretty common in lower end bikes, but the problem here is that it is very bulky and I can see a lot of the connectors, so I hope that they can improve that either by adding maybe a neoprene sleeve or designing it so that it goes into the frame a little bit more quickly. Speaking of the frame, this is a pretty bland or average color palette, I would say. Now, I really appreciate that Lectric has brought in their logo in a more discreet and I think a really pretty way in this regard, because some of them, they just have a giant logo on the side of their bike and it's very distracting to the aesthetic, but I think they've done that part really well. And take a look at these welds. Now, they are going to keep the bike together and these meet e-mountain bike ISO standards, so they're gonna be very strong, but other brands smooth out the welds so it feels more premium. And this one feels like a little bit more like what I'd expect from a budget bike. Now, the next thing is that the leader in this segment offers turn signals standard on their bike. And if you're going to be using this as a commuter riding around in maybe your beach community or amongst traffic, you're probably going to want to have those turn signals. So I'd like to see that from Lectric here. The other thing is an electric horn. And I think it's really important to at least offer something on the handlebars that is going to alert other people around you, whether it's pedestrians or cars. Now, of course, there are aftermarket solutions to be able to add turn signals, and actually there's one right on my head right here. This Lumos helmet not only has turn signals integrated into the helmet, but they also include an additional feature where you can mount turn signals that pair up with the helmet on the back of the bike. So I'll put a link in the description below if you want to learn more about that, but this will solve that issue. I have reviewed many fat tire e-bikes, and if I'm going on trails like I was going on today, I would really prefer to have a full suspension option. Now, of course, that would bring the price up, but at least having the option for someone that really wants to go on intense trails, I think would be a good idea for Lectric to offer. Lectric has sold over 500,000 bikes, and right now there is no way to bring that big community of e-bike owners together in app form, and some of the competitors in this space do offer that. So I'd really love to see Lectric integrate an app, not only for the ability for owners to share pictures or trails or tips or anything like that, or even get together to go for a group ride, but I also think it's important to be able to add technology nowadays to not only improve the bike in the future with firmware updates and making the bike better over time, but also having customization and setting changes so that you can really cater the bike to your preferences. So I would really like to see Lectric start to integrate more app and technology, because that could also bring in new anti-theft features that would make owners feel a little bit more secure about their ownership and connect them more with the community. So those are the opportunities remaining that Lectric can incorporate in order to take the crown in this category. But let's get into the things that I think they did really well in improving the XPeak 2.0. The first one has to be a torque sensor. I really think that this makes the riding experience a lot more fluid and smooth. And whenever riders really want to get that boost of power, the throttle takes care of it for them. And this makes the bike a lot more efficient as well. And having a big battery in conjunction with this torque sensor provides a lot more range. And speaking of range, I like to see that Lectric has included the option for a 20 amp hour battery, which matches some of the competition that have had that size of battery out for years, and those are some of my favorite bikes because of it. Not only that, but the battery is UL 2271 certified, and that safety certification is something that I look out for in every single e-bike that I review, and it just provides peace of mind for the e-bike owner to make sure that this is going to be safe. Now, as I'm talking about the battery, I noticed that Lectric has included this body colored battery cover instead of just putting a black plastic one on there, and I think it really adds to the aesthetic of it. Now, of course, I mentioned before that there are some better looking bikes in this category, but I think this goes a long way to bring them into the space where they're at least competing with some of those others. And I have to say, I think that this is probably the best looking Lectric e-bike that I have seen in their lineup. Lectric has one of the widest varieties of accessories that they offer for their owners, and I love that they have included this rear rack here that has a capacity of 60 pounds. That is a lot, so that you can carry quite a bit with you. But not only that, this bike also includes fenders, and it has integrated lights. So this huge front headlight and the rear tail light are things that I think every bike in this category, if you're going to use it as a commuter, needs to have. As far as the components go, they have upgraded to an 8-speed Shimano Altus derailleur, and I think that that is a good choice going with a name brand like that. They have also incorporated an RST front fork that has a sufficient 80 millimeters of travel, but we'll like to see a brand name there as well with good performance. And lastly, the price. This is a fair price point for this bike. I have tested out other fat tire e-bikes that are pretty much spec for spec, very similar to the XPeak here, and they're right around the same price, or maybe a little bit less or a little bit more. So I think pricing wise, it's fair. Well, thank you so much for watching this latest review. And if you want to learn more about the Lectric XPeak 2.0, then see the link in the description below. We'll also add a coupon code if we have one available. Until next time, drive, fly, ride. Go electric.